focus on delegating the things that other people can do, even just 85% as good as you. Everything else will naturally fall into place. This mentality of thinking you have to do everything slows you down so tremendously.
It's ego.
And the moment that I learned to just let a portion of that go, I go, you know what? It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get done today.
How are you, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm here with Jonathan. Jonathan was one of the most inspiring speakers in my very early days of the career when you spoke on stage here about game theory.
That's right, it's a long time ago now.
I wanted to ask you, you've built and sold how many companies already?
It's been a couple. The notable one is the SEO Butler company that I sold a few years ago. Yeah.
So what's been the process like for you to build it from the very beginning to the point of exit and then build something again? And what's been your framework for making things happen?
Sure. Truth be told, the first one that I built was out of necessity.
Right.
It was the means to an end to get out of a situation, out of a job, a place of work I didn't want to be in anymore, right? So there was no strategy. The strategy was fail forward, fail as quickly as possible, around and find out, it was powered initially by just messaging people in Facebook groups and providing value and trying to see, what do they need? What can I offer them? And that slowly evolved into a brand, which at that point was PBN Butler.
That's right, because everyone wanted PBN at that time,
exactly.
Right? There you go.
And they needed content. And I saw that there was this little gap, which was that people, surprisingly, really cared about how they were treated by their service providers. So we were like, okay, so what if our first hire is a UK-based customer service representative? And what if we really invest into the training and the looking after of our team? And it grew the business exponentially without having to do a bunch of marketing. Our customers would refer other customers to us, and it was just a phenomenal self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. Now, the one thing that I think we both really resonate on, and I've actually heard you say this in your podcasts, is doing things the right way is not the most capitalist, fastest money making, fastest growth way
not
to
the best
do business, right?
Not the best, if you really care.
So, when Gary Vee said, doing the right thing is always the right thing, he didn't really put in there, doing the right thing is always the most profitable thing.
It's going to cost you money.
Yeah, it's going to cost you a whole load of money. So what did I learn? I learned that you have the option, you genuinely have the option to choose your priorities and how you want to build your business. And I think the thing that really weighed very heavily on me was that I don't want to add the stresses of having to look over my shoulder, whether it's for people that used to work for me or whether it's selling products I don't actually believe in, or whether it's just simply like providing bad customer service and telling people to F off if they don't like a service or if they want a refund or something like that. No. Like, we trained our team to put their hand up if they made a mistake. We trained our team to call out to a customer if we think something's going to take longer. And that was an act of choice, right? So I think that that was the first lesson in how I grew my business, was that empathy and using perspective of putting yourself in your employee's shoes, putting yourself in your customer's shoes, is just this really, really, really powerful tool to build a sustainable business that can actually grow for a long time, not aggressively for a short time and then crash. So, I know I rambled a little bit, but I hope that answered your question.
Listen, I love really in-depth answers, because there's always what's being directly said and then what you can infer from the mentality of the person, which is how I find my next question, because this is all unprepared, this is all on the fly, right? So you clearly put the dedication to offer the kind of experience that my understanding is the one that you would wish. Something that's warm, that's close, that's sincere, that is proactive communication, all that stuff. When it was time for you to sell, at that time already SEO Butler, right? How did you feel around that thing that you put so much effort and years into building into something that you could be proud of, changing hands, and what was it going to be the legacy of your legacy, if you will?
I mean, that literally gives me goosebumps till today, you know, like it's something that I really actively need to like process for the simple reason that I ran that company for the best part of a decade. And through my very formative years, right? Like I started in my very early 20s and like, I look old as shit, 36.
Oh, was that awesome. Okay.
So like, there was a bit of a confusion of associating like my passion, my love for it as like it being my identity. And when you then give that identity away, and here's the other thing, let's not kid ourselves, right? Like if you own something that has attention and revenue and has a team and has the ability to do things for other people, people really like you. So when you can no longer offer that to people and you kind of step back and step out of the limelight, there's things that all of a sudden are gone. There's a little bit of attention that's gone, you know, whether it's conferences inviting you to speak or whether it's people including you in the conversation of X, Y, and Z. When it first happened, when we first distanced ourselves from that business, when we sold, there was for sure an identity crisis, like 100%.
How old were you when that happened?
Like 32, I think. Yeah, it's like 4 years ago now.
Quite a pivotal point in a man's life as well.
Yeah.
Early
Exactly.
30s, you start really trying to figure out who am I, what am I here for?
Exactly. And what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
So I had the fortune. There's a few really big fortunes in my life. The first one is that I'm one of the people that was able to work with their partner, like with my wife. So my wife's been in the business. Yeah, my wife's been in the business for many, many years. And one of my best friends is in the business, who's actually my best friend's younger brother, who I brought into the business as employee one, who became a partner. And they ground me, right? Because I am the eccentric, loud, extroverted person that like the visionary, the whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's a role that's required. Someone has to be.
And they are the anchor that goes like, you're insane.
That's enough ideas for today. We're still implementing the one from a year ago.
Exactly.
Yep.
We don't need to change everything again, right? So when I'm going through that spiral, that's the first like huge blessing, was just the ability to like have them as an anchor. The other good thing is that we had a small portion of the business that we didn't sell, which was our agency business, our like retainer business, because we sold like the productized service business. And so there was work to be done. And I think without that, I would have been in trouble. So in some way, you could even say it was a crutch, right? So like it stopped me from having to go out and totally innovate because I already had something to do and yada, yada, yada. But I think those are the two big blessings. And then so yeah, I think that was really the next step in the evolution. Is it was really difficult to like see it go. And I think also the other thing that, I don't know, you'll probably hear a lot of people speak about is the climax of selling a business doesn't exist. Like,
a lot of people have described it as anticlimactic. The big check is the bank account. They've been thinking for the number for so long since they put the business for sale. And then they look at that and now they don't have a business. They don't have what you were saying. I think some people ship on this idea or this, I don't want to say reality because there's a lot of it of interpretation. Other people say that the age of performance is a bad thing. And I'm talking about like your 30s, 40s. It's like when you've already gone through your formative years, you've already gone past your 20s, made all this stupid stuff. And now you're in a position that you can really do on the world, and you can really imprint on the world what you stand for, your beliefs, and you can work really freaking hard, right? Some people say, oh, men only get value out of their performance, but everyone does, right? Because we're here to do stuff, we're here to create, right? So once you get that point, you do the stuff, you build it, you sell it, you have the money. Money by itself is meaningless. it's a tool to do meaningful stuff.
Yeah.
Now you have a really big chunk of money, you don't have the vehicle for meaning,
Yeah.
and you lost this feedback from the world that says, we like the way that you are performing for us.
Yeah.
How did you personally process that?
Yeah. I mean, initially it was grief, right? Like you grieve like a previous life, you know? And actually, you know, there's a parallel here that some people may be able to relate to. I think the same thing happens when you go through fatherhood. You grieve.
I don't know yet.
You grieve your previous life at some point during that experience. It could be at like 3 a.m. in the morning when you're rocking your kid back to sleep or whatever. You're like, man, like I used to do this and do that. It's the exact same thing. But I think the problem is like we're so trained to crush our emotions and to be dead to them and not acknowledge them and whatever. And so like, yeah, initially it's grief, man. Like
doing that, blocking those emotions, that's what will drive you into a hole.
Yeah,
You gotta
exactly,
live them.
exactly.
You have to feel them.
Yeah. So there was another aspect of this that I think was really, really powerful for me. And it actually relates to one of my first ever talks, which is in the talk, I talk about Simon Sinek, the infinite game theory, and game theory and the infinite game, and the whole concept of,
that's the one
you know, the fact that we're trying to perpetuate the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of misunderstood a part of that. A part of that was that I assumed that the infinite game that I had to perpetuate was this one business. And what I came to realize is that like the game that I'm perpetuating is actually like what I do, right? And what I do is I empower really great people to do the best that they can while living a happy life, right? Like, and it doesn't matter what the vehicle is. It doesn't matter what type of business is. It doesn't matter what the service is. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I will happily sacrifice profits every time if it means that people can live a happy life, an easy life, etc. I'm not talking about not working. I'm not talking about not achieving things. All of these things, I think high achievement, high performance goes hand in hand with balance, with strong mental health, with physical and mental wellness, etc.
Can I ask you around that? Because you mentioned grieving the version of you that you used to be as you make a quantum leap in life, such as becoming a father, setting a business, right? I understand. I've been through some of those quantum leaps myself, right?
Yeah.
There's the really big ones that you can say, there's definitely a before and after. That was a one-way door. There's no coming back. This is my new life.
Yes.
But then there is a lot of those doors that are a bit subtler. That we want to cross. And I think a lot of those are around our own belief. The small beliefs that we have, oh, that cannot be done, or this is supposed to be this way, or you see what I mean? So the question that I have for you is, in this process, right, of building the business, deploying it the way that you want to deploy it, which is a bit atypical. This is why I think you were very successful. Plus working with your direct family and very close friends. Do you recall any specific mentality shifts that you had to aggressively work on so that you can go to the next level that helped you to stop hindering yourself, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think the most obvious one, first of all, is the one that I think a lot of people have already talked about, have encountered, etc., which is the ego of thinking you're like particularly good at something, which then becomes an inhibitor to growth. So what I mean by that is like, obviously, I have a level of vanity and a level of, ego and like just thinking that like I'm particularly great at certain things in my business. And I realized over time that those were the exact things that were inhibiting me from actually growing as a business, as a person, etc. And that accepting that you really need to fine-tune your like existence to really be able to lean into the things that truly make you like special, that are truly your like talents. That takes work, and it also takes sacrifice on some of those things. Like you have to sacrifice your ego a little bit to say, you know what, actually I'm slowing you all down. Like you'll run with that. Let me know how it goes and I'll loop back around, you know? So that's like the most obvious thing. And then the other thing is, I think, just like needing breaks, man. Like, I think that was the other thing. It's like when I was young.
How do you know when to take a break, and how do you do it without feeling guilty that you're not
Right.
working? Because I sure feel
Yeah,
guilty.
yeah,
Every
yeah,
single
yeah,
second
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
working, I'm guilty.
So
You know?
one thing that I found that works very well for me is building it into my routine and my structure. So I am a routine-driven person. Like, I'm the annoying person to my wife that, you know, if she says, "Oh, let's go into town," I'm like, "To do what?" She's like, "Oh, just to go for a wander." Like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Just walk around, have a bite to eat. Where do you want to eat, right? Because I need that structure. It's okay to let go sometimes and to just allow things to go for the flow. But one of the things that's helped me tremendously are things like, I've got a workout buddy. He works with me. He's much younger than me. And he is a stickler. I know that this MF is going to be there at 5:15 every morning. And I am way too embarrassed to let him down. By doing that and by showing up and by working out for an hour in the morning, instead of waking up and going straight to the computer, oh my God, it's been a huge shift for me. And like, I'm not a Superman, like, and it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not doing it for like the physique or whatever. I'm doing it for my mental health.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where like before, especially in my early 20s, wake up, make a coffee, make a second coffee on the computer, on the phone, till I go to sleep. Man, when we first launched PBN Butler, I would lie in bed next to my now wife. I'd be answering customers' messages on Facebook Messenger. You know, it was just it is a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare, you know what I mean? So I think the sacrifice is sometimes just in like a mental shift. Like sometimes you just have to kind of allow yourself to try things out, to see what's going to work better. And like, I'm still not quite there where I can just be like, oh, I'm going to sign off for 3 weeks and like, you know, go and walk the Amazon or something. But like, I'll get there.
No, of course you will. I like that you say that, you know, about early days, you being in bed after working all day long, you're in bed, ready to go to sleep, right next to your partner, like probably wanting to spend some time with you, and you still got to do what you got to do, right? I think there's current times a bit of a glamorization of all the beauty of starting a business. Like, whether it's ugly to start a business, it gets beautiful a bit later. Once you make it beautiful through ugly work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
To build like a cathedral is ugly work. Well, once the cathedral is finished, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Not comparing things, but
no,
metaphorically
100%.
speaking, right?
Yes.
So, okay, for anyone out there watching this video who is building their own business and is still on the really ugly stages at the beginning and so forth, one single piece of advice if you can give them to wrap this up.
Just one.
Whatever sounds loudest in your heart, perhaps.
I think the single most impactful mentality shift that I have had is to focus on delegating the things that other people can do, even just 85% as good as you. Everything else will naturally fall into place. This mentality of thinking you have to do everything slows you down so tremendously.
It's ego.
And the moment that I learned to just let a portion of that go, I go, you know what? It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get done today, instead of getting done by me in 2 weeks' time after I've put it off.
Yes, and then you feel guilty about it for 2 weeks because you know you have to respond to that freaking email, but you also have to do this slide deck.
I know. And look, it sounds so boring, but it's powerful. It really is, you know? Yeah. Just look after your mental health, look after your physical health, and make sure you're not the bottleneck. That's it.
Jonathan, my brother, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye.